Blog Talk Radio.
You are live at the Literary Lounge with your host, Destinee D, bringing you the newest and the brightest of the literary world right to your ear hole. Every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in, listen up, and learn something. This is the spot for new hot authors who are given the opportunity to shine. Each Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will showcase a new author here at the Literary Lounge. We are taking out the time to give all of our literary friends an opportunity to showcase their work. The New Author Spotlight is a platform that allows us to ask up to 10 questions or more to give you, the audience, the most in-depth current information about each writer in their literary piece. We will have a new guest every week. Stay tuned. Hey, it's your girl, Destinee D, and we are live at the Literary Lounge on WTLR Radio. Today's date is September the 1st, 2018, and we have a special guest by the name of Wayne Sutphin. He is the author of the book, Look Up, and we're going to do a full 1-hour interview with him in just a moment. Let's see if he's on the line. Wayne, are you there?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I hear you fine. How are you today?
Okay. How are you doing today?
So I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. We have you live today to figure out exactly what's going on with your new book. Can you tell the radio listeners exactly who you are and where you're calling from?
My name is Wayne Sutphin, and I'm calling in from South Boston, Virginia. That's my birthplace, but I've been up in the Maryland area for about 10, 12 years.
Okay,
and,
all right.
I was going to ask, did you want me to go into a little more detail about the book or just where I'm calling from right now?
Right. Well, we want to know everything about you first, and then we'll go into the book a little bit later. Can you tell us how you began with your literary career?
Okay. Well, starts off, I mean, I was always into comic books and, just I liked the whole art of storytelling when I was younger. I used to love for my mother to tell me, bedtime stories, and I just kind of developed the ability to kind of evoke these awesome stories myself with my imagination. So even at a young age, I like to create these imaginary, these cool stories. As I started to couple those things with, drawing, it became very apparent that it kind of matched up with the comic book industry. So I started going more into, doing these stories with superheroes and that whole thing. As time progressed, I kind of was in that area, that genre for a while, but in the passing of my father some years ago, he had given me, a bit of advice about, keeping your head up, look up, because that's where help. Yeah, that's where God is. That's where being just in general, just being positive. So in memorandum, I developed a story based around that, and that's what introduced me to actually getting into writing actual children's books. So I started going, because the actual coupling pictures with a story is not that much different from actually doing comic books. It's just the pictures are bigger, and you like for a children's book, you're doing less writing. So that's how I started off with my first actual, I guess, literary work that would be termed like writing a book. And from that point on, I started doing a few more children's books, and now some other books that are on the horizon. But that's I guess, a quick synopsis of how I got into actually, started writing books in general.
Okay. Now, you're actually the first writer that I've actually had on the show that has mentioned that they actually did the visual effects and the drawing apparatus. So can you tell us a little bit about that process?
Okay. Being that in regards to the visual process, and having been, I guess, doing comic books, beforehand, I try to make the words and the pictures kind of go hand in hand, so that what I attempt to do is just to make sure that the pictures don't overpower the words, but act more as a visual aid to kind of bring the reader into, to kind of picture what I'm trying to get across with my words. I've actually been able to, before I really got into writing, been able to actually do an actual book that just is based on, pictures. You can look at the pictures and kind of just not even have to have words there, because when you're just using pictures, that encompasses, you need to use facial expressions, a lot of, sometimes it's good to use exaggerated movements so that the reader is able to kind of gauge what is going on from just the picture. And like I said, a visual aid a lot of times, helps with the actual words and what's going on with the story. And it's definitely, an enhancement when you're dealing with children's books, and that's, you definitely need pictures. With the younger the reader is, the more you're going to need those pictures. As we get older, sometimes when we're reading, it's better just not to have pictures, because it allows you to use your mind to create the environment and what's going on and how you feel the characters may look. But yeah,
right.
I think definitely for a younger age group, the pictures help.
Right, and I agree, because I've noticed that has been the format for most children's books. It has been more visual, more colorful, more popping, and they focus on the photos more. But with most of the adult books, you're having to literally look into your own mind to see the surroundings and everything. That's why it has to be so descriptive. So let me ask you a question about this book. How long did it take you to draw all of the pictures, have them colored and mastered, and actually put this book together?
Being that this was my first actual book that I've, book and not comic book, is, like I said, there's different, I guess, not necessarily different way it's done, but it's kind of a different format, a different genre. And since I had never really done an actual book before, and, the printers and the places where at that point in time where you could get a book done is kind of a little bit different from, where you would get someone to print a comic book. But now, with some things are moving to where you can get them both done at the same place. It's just different formats. But to answer your question, the first book took probably, go back, I would say about 6 months. It took about 6 months to complete everything, the drawing, and by the time I was done, about 6 to 7 months.
Okay.
Because one of the things I had to also do is, this was before I understood how to actually do the whole process myself. So I had to get someone I drew the pictures, I had to get a company to actually format the book for me, which that, cost. Those were costs that I incurred. So I had to go and get, get some money to actually, produce the books, and that took a little bit of time. And but now I've streamlined it, and it doesn't take once I get the pictures done and the words formatted, I probably can, as far as the children's books go, I can probably cut that down into about 3 to 4 months. That's just making sure that everything is the way it needs to be done. Now, when I get into, I'm in the process of doing a more, I guess, a book for an older group, older range of people, maybe teenagers, and maybe get into, some older range. That'll probably take longer because, the average children's book is, anywhere from, 25 to, maybe 40 pages, which is a vast difference between writing a novel or a book for an older group. So, the writing process doesn't take as long, but by no means am I saying it's easier, because there are other things you have to look at when you're writing, children's books, not just, page count, but word usage and what the age range, you're going to be writing for, because, you're not going to put words like superfluous into a book for first graders, so.
Right. Reading on a 12th grade level or something, right.
Yeah.
I got you.
And you also have to look at one of the things that actually helped me with the with the children's books is that my mother was a first grade teacher, and I got I've gotten some insight for, I guess, word range, word usage, and I've also my aunt also is elementary school teacher, so that kind of helps to kind of maybe, hey, can you all look at this and see if this is where it needs to be, somewhere in the K through 2 range, so
right.
it is, just because, a children's book isn't, 125 pages, 200 pages, it doesn't decrease the level of difficulty, that may go into creating or writing it.
Right. I understand. Well, listen, we're already at the first quarter of the show. So what we need to do is we need to take a short break, and we'll be right back. So I'd like to thank all of our callers who have called in, and I want you to stay on the line, guys, because in just a moment we're going to do an audience Q&A where you can actually ask Wayne a few questions, okay? So please stay on the line, and we're going to take this little break, and we'll be right back.
This is the spot for new hot authors who are given the opportunity to shine. Each Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will showcase a new author here at the Literary Lounge. We are taking out the time to give all of our literary friends an opportunity to showcase their work. The New Author Spotlight is a platform that allows us to ask up to 10 questions or more to give you, the audience, the most in-depth current information about each writer in their literary piece. We will have a new guest every week. Stay tuned.
All right, you are live at the Literary Lounge on WTLR Radio, and this is your girl, Destinee D, and we have Brother Wayne Sutphin on the line telling us all about himself and how he actually began writing children's books and all of that good stuff. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go actually in depth into this book. So let's see if he's on the line. Wayne, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. Yep.
Okay, so we'd like to take just a moment to get a little bit into your book. Can you tell us basically, like, as far as Look Up is concerned, is this like a hardback or a paperback book?
Yeah, it's a paperback book, children's book. And,
okay, can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it's a story that actually the way it's packaged, it's a children's book. But if I were to take the pictures away, the actual story itself can be an adult or a teenager could gather, get some good, I guess positive thoughts from the actual story itself. Just to give you a quick, I guess, overall synopsis of the book, it's about three brothers who actually are given a bit of information by their father about keeping a positive outlook. And one of the key phrases of the book is, the father tells his sons to, keep your head up, look up, because that's where hope is. Because if you're looking down, you can't see the good things that might be coming your way. And because they actually, at some point within the story, they actually, figuratively and literally look up, and that actually saves them from a bad situation at the end. It gets them out of the situation. So the whole story itself, it kind of surrounds that whole, I guess, the physical thing of actually looking up and actually physically keeping your head up, so that you can, keep that focus up, and also, the actual thought process of keeping a positive outlook. And because they're able to physically look up, they see their way out of a perilous situation. And because they're actually keeping a positive mindset, they're able to actually save the farm and do some other good things with that whole mindset. So basically, the story itself, like I was saying beforehand, if you pull the pictures away from it, it's a good story for anybody of any age.
Right. And let me ask you a question. I know you mentioned that your father was the main inspiration for this book, and I also heard you say that there are three brothers in the book. Do you have three? Are there three of you as far as brothers in real life?
Well, it's interesting that you've asked, because there is a I guess subconsciously when I was doing that, I kind of more than likely kind of came with it from that perspective, because I do have two brothers. I'm the oldest of my two brothers, and then I have two. My father also has two stepchildren. Well, three stepchildren and I have two brothers on that end, and within that whole group, I'm the person in the middle. So, but my stepbrothers are both older, and my two brothers are both younger. But the character, I would say, within the book, which is the youngest brother who actually helps him out of the woods, I would say that would probably be the character that I most identify with. I also have a younger sister, which is interesting on that end. Everybody have a younger sister and an older stepsister, and I'm still like in the middle, which that's interesting. But yeah, the pattern of the brothers and whatnot does have some, I guess, symbolism within the book.
Right. I understand. Because, a lot of times as a writer, you end up pulling from your own personal experiences or things that actually deal with you and tie into what you are, well, actually who you are. It's a part of you in every line that you write. So that's why I asked that question, because I felt like you were pulling from personal life, and that it was more of a book that kind of connected with you as a whole. So that's kind of good when you pull from yourself, because you're able to connect with the actual characters, and then the actual readers can connect with you because it has a part of you in it.
That's true. I believe that.
What I want to do is I want to give our listeners the opportunity to ask you a question if they have one at this time. So what I want to let everybody know is that if you have a question for Wayne, please press the number 1 key, and it'll let me know that you have a question. And then what we'll do is we'll get you live on the air, and then you can ask whatever question that you have. So we'll give you a moment to decide whether or not if you wanted to ask a question. But I would like to let you know that you do have listeners listening in, so that's awesome. And we'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. So now that I don't see any indicators right offhand, we're going to continue along with the interview. Now, dealing with this book, Look Up, is there any part that sticks out to you the most? I know you said that it gave instances where they had to look up and deal with, like, the farm and things of that nature, but is there an actual, like, turning point, a climax in the book that stands out to you, something that you couldn't, shake, so to speak?
Yeah, I would say that the climax or the pinnacle point in the book is when the 3 brothers are at the point where it's like they've been lost and it's not looking good at all, and it's almost to the point where they think they're going to come to their end in the big woods. So what the youngest brother points out what the father had said about he makes a statement, brothers, keep your head up, look up, because that's where hope is. There's no point in looking down, because if you're looking down, you can't see the good things that might be coming your way. And at that moment is when the 3 brothers just kind of hold their heads up, and in the process of actually looking up, they see a huge apple tree that's in the middle of this dark, scary woods, and so they actually have food. They're going to be able to get something to eat because they're on the process of not having any food for a while. So the youngest brother climbs a tree, and as he's dropping the apples down to his brothers to eat, he sees these golden specks. There are bits of sunlight coming through, and then he sees something on the forest floor. So he climbs down and he runs toward to see exactly what this is, and what it is, they're wheat stalks. He had seed in his pocket to take and he was going to take some of that to town to actually sell. However, there's a hole in his pocket, and the seeds had dropped out, creating a path so that they could see their way out of the woods, out of the big woods. So that was the pinnacle point.
Wow. Okay. That's actually like almost like a Hansel and Gretel type of format, where they were able to find themselves back out the woods. But that's actually a good concept, in most aspects of life. We look for those signs. We look for those signs in life, and when we do have a pathway that we can follow that's being lit and shown to us, it does make things a whole lot smoother.
Yes. The big difference with Hansel and Gretel is that, they were taking out breadcrumbs and attempting to make a pathway. The other's pathway was created unknowingly, but changing their perspective and outlook on what was going on helped them see a pathway out.
Right. As far as this book is concerned, you said you would be considered the smallest brother in this book?
Yes, I would be considered the youngest brother, based on the dynamics of, I guess, the initial onset of, when I decided to start writing this particular book, and where the actual I guess, initiative to write it from, because it was based on something my father said, and it was based on some good things, coming from him, I guess I chose to delineate that particular, using the older brothers and making me the younger brother in that particular scenario.
Right.
I don't know if I was what I was saying, but because my older stepbrothers, that part of my father's life, that was there. So I delineated myself as the youngest brother because in that, family scenario, I would be.
Right. And that makes sense. In your stepbrother situation, you would be the youngest brother.
Yeah,
So I do see. Right. So, have you traveled with this book? Have you did any book signings or any shows or anything with this book yet?
Yes, actually, I was shortly after I wrote it, I was invited to a Jack and Jill event in Danville, Virginia. And I read there. I also was invited to Waverly Elementary in Maryland. That's in Frederick, Maryland. I've also read look up at the Hagerstown Community College in Maryland. Then most recently here in South Boston, Virginia, we had the Read Across America in March of this year, and I was invited to come and read to the children there. So read there and, had a little booth for my books. So I've actually, done some readings in several different school settings and different events on that level. I don't know when the next, in the process of a friend of mine that's in South Carolina that had expressed interest in me coming to a school there. They have these big book events there. And another friend I used to work with at a school in Maryland, they're doing a event in Florida. Looking into that, I don't know if I'm going to make it to that one because that's coming up here sometime early this month. But so I have done some readings and I have done some travel with the Look Up book within Maryland and Carolina and Virginia.
Well, it's kind of interesting that you said that you did all of these readings at different locations and schools and things. And my question would be for you: have you given it any thought to actually turn this book into an audio book?
I was thinking of some different formats just with some of the books, and I happened to be on YouTube and I saw some people actually, the lady on there that was doing some books, and they were talking about doing audio books, and so I was looking at the process, but I haven't that's about as far as I've gotten with turning it into an audio book or anything of that that nature.
I mean, to me, it sounds like it would be very, very easy for you because being that you're doing these actual live book readings, it would only take, somebody taking a recording device and recording you while you're speaking the book. So, you would think that it wouldn't be that difficult. I mean, I don't know the process myself.
It wouldn't be, but if you're really looking for like an actual really good sound quality, you would probably want to go into an actual studio, and and then you also have to look at even after that's done, you have to look at packaging and how there's other, I guess, things within the process that you would, a lot of stuff looks like it could be really easy, but if you wanted to make it the best when you're doing something, I look like I try to get the best possible product that I can with the resource that I have, and if it came down to it, and I just wanted to get my look up as an audio book put out there, I probably could find a simplified way or simpler way to do it to get it turned into an audio book. I had thought about actually as far as using audio and visual, and social media is actually, doing I'm in the process of creating a YouTube channel anyway. Just actually reading a portion of the book, so that my readers or listeners could actually see the visuals, as the pictures, as well as, start hearing the process of the story. But, as being an author, you don't want to, read the entire book and, but, giving the audience enough of the book to say, hey, this might be something I might be interested in getting from my son or daughter or nephew or niece or, a grandchild. So.
Right. Well, yeah, it's good to give snippets and excerpts, to give the reader or the potential buyer an opportunity to see a little bit of your work, right, to push them in the direction of purchasing the book. So, yeah, that is a very smart marketing tool that you're using. So that was a really good idea that you made to do that. And right now I'm seeing that we're at the halfway mark, believe it or not. We have 2 segments of the show that has already passed and gone. So we're going to cut to one more break, and we'll be right back. So please stay on the line, guys.
This is the spot for new hot authors who are given the opportunity to shine. Each Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will showcase a new author here at the Literary Lounge. We are taking out the time to give all of our literary friends an opportunity to showcase their work. The New Author Spotlight is a platform that allows us to ask up to 10 questions or more to give you, the audience, the most in-depth current information about each writer in their literary piece. We will have a new guest every week. Stay tuned.
All right, guys, and we are back, and this is your girl, Destinee D, and we are live at the Literary Lounge on WTLR Radio, and today's date is September the 1st, 2018, and we have been discussing the book titled Look Up with Brother Wayne Sutphin, and we're going to ask a few more questions for him in reference to his book, so let's see if he's on the line still. Wayne, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, great. Okay, so we want to do a little bit of background information about your publishing because it sounds as if since you're so hands-on with everything, it sounds like you self-publish. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. I actually have a small publishing company. It's called Apple Avenue Publishing, and so I am self-publishing. And at one point, when I first started Apple Avenue Publishing, Apple Avenue Publishing was started because I had to buy a ISBN number for Look Up, and I saw that it was more cost-effective to buy, multiple ISBN numbers than just one. So I ended up buying 10, and since I bought 10, then I was like, well, that means I got to write at least 9 more books. So then I decided, well, why don't I just do a publishing company? So that started Apple Avenue Publishing. And then I wrote some more books. Actually, you can check out more books by me. Well, thus far, they're children's books at appleavenuepublishing.com.
Okay, so how many books have you written total?
Not including the comic books, I've written, there's Look Up, Christmas in July, 2 more, 4 children's books, and then I co-authored a book that will be coming out soon with my daughter. It's called Snowman and Penguin, find a spaceship. Actually, she wrote it. I just did the illustrations. And hello.
Oh.
But yeah. But actually,
neat.
what did you say? I didn't hear you right off.
No, I said that's neat that you actually you got your daughter into doing what you do. That's awesome that you're able to carry that on to your children. How many children do you have?
I have 4. I have 3 daughters. I have the twins, Heidi and Holly, and Hannah, who's she's in middle school, and I have my stepson, and his name's Taiwan. So
okay.
4 all together.
So just the one daughter has decided to do a book. Do you think that will intrigue the other 3 to do something with you?
My oldest, Taiwan is, he's in the military, and I think he's chosen a career at this point. The twins are, they're in their junior year in college, and one is going into dentistry, and the other one is going into the IT field. They do some drawing here and there, but I think they've kind of decided that's the direction they're going. My youngest, Hannah, she is artistic. She can draw and does the story stuff, and it's kind of when we get a chance, sometimes we do stuff like that. So I think she might be the one that may pick up, I guess, writing books and drawing and all that good stuff.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. I know exactly what you mean about the ISBN numbers because they're actually, they're very expensive because I've done publishing for some time, so I definitely know exactly what you're talking about. And when you do get 10, that is an investment.
Yes.
Have you used all 10?
It's interesting you ask that because I still have 8 left. And the reason that, even though I have more books out there, I've found that the process, before, I figured out that I could use these specific ISBN numbers and have the printer put them on there, I was able to do, when you have the, I guess, what do you call them, the online immediate printers, sometimes you can just go ahead and get, as long as you continue to use their services, they'll give you an ISBN number. So I currently use the ISBN numbers that you can get through the actual, printer process and on there, just for faster turnaround time. So I am planning on using the ones that I do have, that I've purchased because that would be, a waste of money. But so I simply answer your question, no, I still have some left.
now let me ask you this. As far as your book Look Up, is it actually in any brick and mortar stores, like physical stores where people can go to buy a copy?
I had I've got some of the books, the Look Up books in Grandma's Place in New York City on 124th Harlem. It's in Harlem. But thus far, that's the only brick and mortar store that the Look Up books are in. Okay. I was in the process of talking with Books A Million, getting it placed in there, some of their chain stores. But I'm looking. It's probably best to go in, some of the smaller stores because they can make a decision based on whether they can carry your book instead of having to go to corporate. But that's one of the things that I have not really done a lot of promotion-wise, trying to get into specific brick-and-mortar stores. It's just been a little bit easier for me to kind of do online promotion, that way. But, so I'm in one brick-and-mortar store.
Okay. Because I've had a few people tell me that when you actually go online to do your book and they give you that EIN number or that ISBN, that it kind of limits, your processing on your book. I have been told that if you have your own ISBN, then it's more than likely it's more likely that you would be able to have your book placed in, the brick and mortar stores if you have your own ISBN. Because from my understanding, I think Amazon does it online, and that's the only place that it can be sold is online. You can do Barnes and Noble, but when you do Barnes and Noble, it's still online. But when you, I think when you have your ISBN number yourself, it gives them the option of the POD, the paying on demand, where you can have it physically inside, one of the stores. It has to be where the book can be, purchased on demand. Outside of, where you have like a return policy of some kind. So I have heard that those were, some of the things that they had mentioned. If you had your own ISBN number, that you were more likely to be able to be put in a brick store. And I also spoke to a young guy by the name of Anthony Johnson. I'm sure you know who he is. He's a business owner that has a bookstore that he's coming out with in January. So we've been connecting with him to see if we can get some books and stuff in the store. And he's also kind of contracted himself as a traveling book salesman. So that may be a connection that you can do to get him to grab a few copies of your book, and then when he goes to those different locations as a vendor, you can have your book sold, that way. I also try to do that for people as well, being that I have a publishing company and I have a few on my roster. I like to, get a few of their books and take them to different events and things that's in the area. Let me ask you a quick question. Have I connected you with the Writers Guild that we have yet?
I don't think so.
Okay. So when we end the show, we'll get connected and we'll get you signed up with the Writers Guild, because that helps out a lot. It's very informative. It has, like, when we have different events that you could possibly go to if you have the free time. And they're all over the place. They're not subjected to any particular city and state. So those could be venues and things that you could possibly go to, in the meantime. Do you have anything currently set up for the near future as far as this book? Are you planning to do a book signing or anything in the near future?
As it may go, as of right now, I don't have anything on the table in the near future for the actually look up as far as like book signings. But on the flip side of that, with the comic book industry that I'm in, I do have a few comic book conventions that I will be attending, and I'll be selling comic books and graphic novels. Just to let people know, a graphic novel basically is a comic book that's over 64 pages. So I've been doing, I've done some graphic novels, but that's what's on the horizon for me in the upcoming future. I'm planning on going up to the Baltimore Comic-Con, and then there's the Underground Comic-Con in Delaware. A friend of mine, his name is Jabbar Brown, he does that. Is going on to the 6th year of that whole thing, but that's usually a good place to actually, market my graphic novels. So those are some upcoming events that I'll be at, but it's, they're still literary, but they don't fit, not necessarily into the actual book genre in regards to, just straight out like books.
Okay. I understand exactly what you mean. Do you think that that those type of events are noteworthy? Like, do they actually come in costume and cosplay and all of that stuff?
But I think that for independent writers and artists, those events are good to go to. But if I were just starting out, I would do more of the grassroots local comic book conventions, because once you get into the bigger ones, you kind of get lost in the shuffle, and it's not cost effective, to pay X amount of dollars for a booth, and you're lost in the shuffle, and you don't have anybody. It's difficult for people to come by your table because they're doing other stuff. But at a smaller convention or con, or whatever you want to call it, comic book convention, there's more emphasis placed on the independent writer, independent artist, and you can actually get that following of people coming to your table, and if it's local or regional in your region, that's kind of where you want to be at anyway, because that's where you can build your base from and then kind of spread out from there. I have been thinking about going down to they have OnyxCon in Atlanta, and that's something I want to do. As far as there, you can actually, as an author, I guess as an African American, for a black author, you can actually, I will be able to probably have all my books, comic books as well as children's books, and it'd be more or less, I have my booth as an author, and people would, I could actually, get my promote myself, my books, well, both types at a convention like that.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Because I was just about to ask you about that. Would you be able to do multiple books, other than comic books at a convention of that sort? Because, when you have people who have written other books beyond the comic books, like I have seen them have their table like in divisions, if that makes sense. They have the comic books on display, but then they have like a little tag like children's books, and then they have, adult fiction or something like that. They have like little placards where they split up the table and are able to sell like the whole line, as opposed to just focusing on the comic books, because that helps across the board, actually.
Yeah.
When you're able to produce everything at one time. So, like, just in case they see the comic book, but they have a smaller child that sees the children's book, they'll be interested in it, and you'll get two sales instead of one, if that makes sense.
Well, the other thing that that kind of puts me in I would say in a different bracket is because most people, and I guess it may be best to stick to one genre or not, but my interest lies in multiple genres, because I actually am in the process of working on a book that goes more into, it would probably fit along the lines of Chicken Soup for the Soul. And this was basically, I was coming up with this based on, some things that I would like to pass along to my daughters and my stepson in regards to, life lessons that would be of use, as you go into your adult life, and which does not fit within the children's books or within the comic book genre, but it would be a book by Wayne Sutphin. And that's another thing in regards to why, at my website, WayneSutphin.com, I've found that to be more of a nexus point where I can sell all my books at, because on Apple Avenue Publishing, you might not want to get into the whole comic book aspect of where you got, these fights with these characters when you got, look up and children's books, so you have to kind of break it down a little bit. But at my specific site about me, I can put all my books, and that would be, something like when I go to a literary event, I can bring all my books. But at a comic book convention, even though I got pictures in the children's books, it's probably not going to do well.
Right. I understand what you're saying. Well, listen, we have like the last 10 minutes of the show, so I want to take one last quick break, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to get all of your contact information, okay? So hold on the
Okay.
line for me, and we'll be back.
This is the spot for new hot authors who are given the opportunity to shine. Each Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will showcase a new author here at the Literary Lounge. We are taking out the time to give all of our literary friends an opportunity to showcase their work. The New Author Spotlight is a platform that allows us to ask up to 10 questions or more to give you, the audience, the most in-depth current information about each writer in their literary piece. We will have a new guest every week. Stay tuned.
All right, guys. We are on the last part of the show, and we'd like to take a moment of time to thank Brother Wayne Sutphin for being our special guest. And yes, you are live on the Literary Lounge on WTLR Radio, and today's date is September 1st. And what we need from Brother Wayne is some of his contact info so that if you're interested in purchasing a book or following him or liking some of his stuff or meeting him at one of those Comic-Cons, then you'll be able to get in contact with him. So let's see if he's on the line. Wayne, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
All right.
Okay. What we want to do right now is we want to give out some contact info. So please let the listeners know where they can find you if you have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Okay. Just in general, I have my website is the one that you can probably get everything on is WayneSutphin.com. And Sutphin is spelled S as in Sam, U as in umbrella, T as in Tom, P as in Paul, H as in Hillary, I as in Igloo, and N as in Nancy. Also, the same thing holds true for Facebook. It's Wayne Sutphin on Facebook. Instagram is W.S.Sutphin. Also on Twitter, it should be Wayne Sutphin. But the best place for contact would be on Facebook at Wayne Sutphin or on through my website, WayneSutphin.com. Now, if you're just interested in children's books, I do have AppleAvenuePublishing.com, and that will showcase just all the children's books. And if you're just interested in comic books, the comic book company that I have is called 0 Hour Studios, and that's spelled XEROZERO, XERO, 0hourstudios.com.
Okay, and also the book that we have, Look Up, where can that be found?
That can be found, you can get it on Amazon, or you can get it at Apple Avenue Publishing, or WayneSutphin.com.
Okay,
So
and if we were to purchase the, can you tell us how much the book is going for right now?
The Look Up is $11.99.
Okay, great. So being that we've gotten all your contact information and this is the closing of the show, I would like TLR Radio and the Literary Lounge for being our special guest today, and we really do thank you for being on the air. This was an awesome interview, and I look forward to seeing big and better things from you. If you have anything like as far as like a moment of reflection or a closing statement of some kind, or if you want to acknowledge the callers who have called in and listened to the entire show, if you want to thank them, now is the time.
Okay. First, I'd like to thank you for, having me on your show, and I commend you on the work that you're doing to, get new authors out there. We're doing a great job of that. And I would also next like to thank everybody that listened and was on, for support-wise, and I can, definitely like to, to thank those people that tuned in. And just I guess in reflection, I'd like to, since we talked about look up, I would like to tell everybody, the listeners, to just keep your head up, look up, keep looking up, because that's where hope is. And if you're looking down, you can't see the good things that might be coming your way.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank you again, and we enjoyed having you on the show. So, like I said before, this show would not even be a show without our guests. So we humbly thank you for taking out the time out of your busy schedule and allowing us to do this interview. And we look forward to seeing a lot of your work. We want to see you at some award ceremonies and things of that nature. So definitely keep us posted, okay?
Okay, will do. Will do. I'll definitely do that. And like I said, stay in touch. 'Cause I would like to.
We'll do.
What was that?
We will do that.
Okay. All righty.
All right. Thank you a lot, and y'all have a great day, okay?
Thank you, too. All righty.
All right.
Bye.
You are live at the Literary Lounge with your host, Destinee D, bringing you the newest and the brightest of the literary world right to your ear hole. Every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in, listen up, and learn something.
All right, guys. Next week on September the 8th, 2018, we will have none other than Miss Shelley Lee. She's going to be our special guest for next week. So you guys tune in September the 8th for Shelley Lee.
This is the spot for new hot authors who are given the opportunity to shine. Each Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will showcase a new author here at the Literary Lounge. We are taking out the time to give all of our literary friends an opportunity to showcase their work. The New Author Spotlight is a platform that allows us to ask up to 10 questions or more to give you, the audience, the most in-depth current information about each writer in their literary piece. We will have a new guest every week. Stay tuned.